If you went back 10 years, even 5 years,
Yeah.
you would never have imagined that we'd be having a conversation like this where someone wants a dick and a vagina at the same time. But
Is that more offensive than the guy who wants to make breast milk for his baby?
That's really bad.
That's
there was
uber bizarre.
There's this case in Britain of the breastfeeding.
I think it's Canada as well.
There was one in the UK. What was interesting about the UK experience is that there was ITV News, which is a major news channel in Britain. They interviewed women who are struggling as a consequence of the cost of living crisis. And one of the women they interviewed is a man. It's a bloke in a dress who claims to be a mother of a child. And it turns out that this person breastfeeds his child. What that means is he gets his baby to suck on his male nipple, his useless, milk-free, non-lactating male nipple.
But I think
we would have called
them
that
lactate now. This is the point. There's certain medications that you can give a biological male and he'll produce breast milk.
Yeah, but it's not milk. It's not real. It's not.
Are you a connoisseur?
Sir,
have you had a good tit milk sommelier visit you and give you some samplings?
It's not what nature intended, is it?
But every man biologically starts off as a female in the womb. And it's the introduction of testosterone and all the factors and the XY chromosome, and that's what turns us into male. But we start off as female. So do we have the hardware? And is this medication just igniting? I mean, it's grotesque. Don't get me wrong. And it's also, it seems weird that you're having a baby suck on your tits and you're a guy. It seems oddly sexual.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In a way that it doesn't seem like with a woman at all. Right? It's like all of a sudden, like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Why do you want to do that?
But think about it. If you saw a man who looks like a man who looks like you on the street with a baby attached to his nipple, you'd call the cops. You'd punch him in the face. You'd do something. So
I definitely wouldn't punch him if the baby was in his arms.
Yeah, take the baby away first.
Imagine if you killed the baby.
Call social services.
Ooh, you would be going to jail.
Yeah, but the thing about breastfeeding men that I find gruesomely interesting is that, firstly, it's just not true that men can lactate in the same way that women can. And the drugs that they take in order to mimic lactation actually makes whatever secretion comes from their horrible nipples worse for the baby, right? Because it's full of drugs. It's full of It's full of really gross content. So it just shouldn't happen. But it's an indication of how far society has gone down the avenue of validating everyone's identity. So we even have to validate the identity of the freaky man who thinks he has the right and the ability to breastfeed his kid.
Yeah.
And if you stand up and say, no, this is not breastfeeding, this is a form of child abuse, a man shouldn't put his nipple in a child's mouth, you are denounced as a transphobe, you are denounced as a bigot, you are denounced as someone who is a horrible person. So that's the problem.
That's also he's HIV positive.
I mean,
which is cool.
What can you even say at this stage?
Hold on a second. Put that back up. Person also revealed that he was HIV positive and acknowledged that the transmission of the condition to his baby through milk is possible if viral load becomes detectable. Despite having been continuously monitored for 18 and a half years of his life, he also promised to undergo testing monthly to mitigate risk. What a sweetheart. He's going to test his HIV positive fake tit milk.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
And everybody's like, yeah, you're not crazy.
But
you shouldn't be in jail.
That's the problem. The problem is, I mean, they've always been freaks. They've always been weirdos. They've always been absolute losers and tossers who do bad things to kids and everyone else. The problem is society nodding along and saying, this is fabulous. Look at this new identity. This man is breastfeeding a child. The problem is people aiding and abetting these perversions by dressing them up as gender identities. That's the real problem here.
But it's crazy because there are people that identify with being a woman, and I have no problem with them living their life as a woman. But the problem is, without any scrutiny, if you can't scrutinize each person as an individual, and if they're in a protected class, if they're automatically, if they say that they're a woman, like instantaneously you have to absolve them of all their sex offender record.
Yeah.
Like you let them walk around the women's room with a heart on, no one can say anything.
No.